And we're going to Piner, Kentucky now. Lance Berry has been working that part of this story. He's been getting a lot of information out of there for us tonight, so we're going to go check in with him now. Lance?
Yeah, Clyde and Carol, what we can hear off in the distance here tonight is two distinct sounds. You hear some chainsaws, and you also hear a lot of generators. Certainly this this small town, I should say, coming together very, very well given the circumstances. I mentioned this a few minutes ago, and I think it bears repeating. The first couple hours we were here, people were walking around. It looked a little bit like a zombie movie because people were in shock about what they were seeing. But now we're starting to see more and more of this town mobilizing, making sure that people have a place to stay tonight, and that people without power, as almost all this town is, you know, those folks have generators and access to it. The destruction that we have seen throughout the day, it's very difficult to describe, so I'm going to go ahead and show it to you and describe it as best as I can. The house you're looking at is Judy Cooper's home. She was actually born in this house 75 years ago. It is a home of about 150 years, if not more, and she says it is a complete loss, and you're looking at why. The roof is now gone. There are several smaller buildings as well that suffered some very serious damage to the backside. The power lines you're seeing are just hanging there, dangling, some of them across Kentucky 17, where we're going live from right now. And we can actually also tell you there's a piece of her home now hanging in the front tree, as you see that. Chief Photographer Terry Helmer providing these live pictures for you. She indicated that literally this morning she went to the store and bought a weather radio because she knew this storm was rolling its way into the tri-state, and she thinks that there is a possibility that may have saved her life today because she was listening to the weather radio and she knew what was coming her way. Also want to point out, this is a town that is built up in some spots. Where we're at is actually at the very top of a large farm area, and as a result there's not a lot of trees and a lot of cow pastures, things like that. So really there was nothing to block these winds as they came barreling through Piner tonight, and especially because we're at the top of this hill, her house really saw some significant damage. You can see live here parts of her home. There's fencing, there's roofing everywhere that we can see. And keep in mind, this is just one property we're talking about. Many properties in Piner suffering extensive damage. But here is the miracle, if you will, about all of this. No significant injuries, no fatalities here in Piner. That information confirmed throughout the night by law enforcement sources here. Unfortunately, as we've also been reporting, that is not the case. About 5 miles from here, as the crow flies, on Route 25, Kentucky 25, between Crittenden and Walton, there are thought to be several fatalities there. I'm told at least 3, it is thought. So northern Kentucky getting a big dose of this storm tonight, earlier today, and unfortunately in some cases it is a fatal story that we are reporting tonight. Also want to tell you that from what we are seeing here tonight, Kentucky 17 is being reopened. In some cases we're seeing a lot more traffic here, and in many cases it's people who are kind of snooping at their neighbors, seeing what they have suffered here. Other people kind of driving very slowly and looking at us and looking at the devastation all around. So for the most part, some of those fire and police officials that we've been seeing going up and down 17 have been now replaced by people who are just checking out the devastation for themselves. But certainly the daylight tomorrow morning is going to really tell the story here, as you see some of the first responders and some of the ambulance crews that have gathered here now, I believe, heading back to their posts. We were down the street a little while ago, earlier tonight, at a Baptist church. It was a mobilizing area for law enforcement and for ambulance and first responders from all over northern Kentucky. They had gathered there, and they were just awaiting orders, and little did they know that this is what they were going to be doing tonight, just basically trying to help as much as they can. But in many cases there's not a whole lot they can do for these folks and until the morning, and then they can reassess things. So we're going to continue to keep you posted from what the latest is here in Piner. The good news, no fatalities, significant damage however to report, but the case much different just a couple miles away as the devastation continues to be assessed here this evening in northern Kentucky. Clyde and Carol, let's send it back to you.
All right, Lance Berry reporting live for us this evening and doing